In a news conference set for later this afternoon, President Trump is set to announce a broad slate of tariffs on goods imported into the United States. Right now, it's unclear just how much and which countries, the president will charge, but businesses are on alert. So here to break down for us how tariffs work and to really help us understand their impact on your wallet is CapTrust Vice President and Advisor Catherine McCall. Catherine, always good to see you. Thanks for being here.
Of course.
This is a big topic. A lot of people have a lot of questions. So how would you describe tariffs to people?
So I will best sum this up from the JP Morgan global strategist, David Kelly. I'm literally going to read this.
Okay.
The trouble with tariffs, to be succinct, is that they raise prices, slow economic growth, cut profits, increase unemployment, worsen inequality, diminish productivity, and increase global tensions. But other than that, they're fine.
Okay.
What you have to understand about tariffs is that they are meant to be a tax on the foreign producer of goods, on things that come into the United States that U.S. consumers buy. So if you buy a bottle of wine from France, from a French producer, that $100 bottle of wine could have a 20% tariff on it, making it $120 for you, the U.S. consumer, to buy. Most producers are not going to be generous and swallow that 20% themselves. They're going to pass it on to the consumer. At a micro level, this doesn't sound like too big of a deal. When we apply it to the entire global economy, it can create a lot of repercussions in that global trade doesn't want to happen quite as often because we're not as friendly with our friends. And it also can impact the pocketbooks of Americans because it means that the things that we buy and that we like to buy maybe cost significantly more. That is inflationary. It depends on how, for how long and to what degree that inflation will impact the global economy.
Sure, sure. Is there any positives to tariffs? I mean, we always talk about the negative. We hear the negative. Is there a positive at all?
So the idea behind this is that we're generating tax revenue technically from outside of the U.S. Some impacts have estimated that this could be $600 billion in additional U.S. government revenue, so tax revenue, $600 billion per year. On a 10-year basis, that's $6 trillion, which could help our U.S. debt, which is right now at $36 trillion. So that's a good thing in and of itself. The other positive impact that it could have, that theoretically it should have, would be to incentivize U.S. producers to be making their goods in America and for U.S. consumers to be buying those goods inside America.
Sure. Okay, the big question a lot of folks have too, how should they prepare right now?
I would think about any major big ticket purchases that you have on the horizon. I think vehicles certainly are a good one to think about, being strategic about. If you have, a home remodel, for example, and you think, oh, I'm going to need a ton of lumber. Oftentimes lumber comes from Canada, right? So you may want to do some research with, the folks that you're purchasing these things through to find out if there's any way to buy it inside the U.S. or to maybe defer buying it until we get more clarity on these tariffs.
All right, a lot of good information. I know we'll be talking to you in the next weeks and coming months for sure. Catherine, always good to see you.
Of course.